Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we are going to be doing the January predictions reading. So we'll see what is coming up for you in January and what you can expect. I'm filming this very shortly after the 2023 predictions video, so I'm still unwell, but by the time I release this I'll probably be feeling a lot better. So I apologise if I cough or sniff or sneeze or anything on camera. So like I said, this is going to be the January predictions video. We're going to see what's coming up for you in the month ahead, what you can expect, good things, bad things, whatever's coming your way. We're open to whatever messages come through. I also want to say a big thank you to all of my lovely patrons, including Alexandra, Amy, Alyssa, Alison, Mia, Cara, Kelly and Natalie. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for all of your support and your kindness. Thank you to all of my lovely subscribers as well for being here, and thank you to you for being here and watching as well, whether you're subscribed or not. It really means a lot to me that you are here. So let's take a look at the two piles that we've got today. As you can see, I've pre-shuffled the cards and we have these two little enamel pins on each pile. So on pile one there is Elisa Simpson, and on pile two there's the Krusty Burger sign. So just go with your intuition, whichever pin is catching your attention the most. It doesn't have to be the one that you would maybe want to wear or the one that's your favourite, just whichever one draws your eye or that you feel like you can't stop looking at. Go with your gut on this one and don't overthink it, but if you need to take some more time, just go back to the start of the video or pause the video here so you can get a bit of a longer look at them both. And when you're ready, I will get started with pile number one. Hey there group one, welcome to your reading. If you chose the Lisa Simpson pin, this is going to be your January predictions reading, so we'll just pop that there and we'll see what messages are coming up for you in the month ahead. So like I said, I've already shuffled the cards, and the tarot deck that we're using today is actually a Christmas gift that I received from my grandma. So it's the Alice in Wonderland tarot. Really love it, really enjoying using it already. So what cards have you got from the tarot deck? So you've got the Knight of Teacups, first of all, which is the Knight of Cups, obviously. Then the Three of Teacups, Three of Cups, and the Eight of Teacups, the Eight of Cups. So there's a lot of cups, a lot of water energy here. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces showing up so far in your reading, so it seems like January is going to be quite an emotional time. The Knight of Cups suggests that there might be some romance for you in this month, and the Three of Cups suggests socializing, so there's definitely going to be a lot of chatting to people and spending time with people. However, the Eight of Cups suggests feeling overwhelmed, feeling maybe like drained, like your heart's not in something, like you want to move on from something. Now these aren't necessarily related, you know, you could be wanting to move on from something entirely different. It's not connected to socializing, but we'll take a look at your oracle cards for some more information, and as always we've got the charms and dice coming up as well. So your first oracle card is number 45, Such a Curious Dream. Grounding, returning to reality, coming home. So maybe you've been traveling recently, and this is a message of saying now it's back to the daily grind of whatever you're doing, working or studying. Maybe you've just had a really good time over the holidays, or you've had like a real whirlwind time where you've been seeing people and, you know, going places and not being at home and doing this and doing that and having your routine all shaken up, and you know, it's like, whoa, did that really happen? You know, now you've come back to real life. It's sort of like, huh, that was a lot to deal with, and now I'm back in normal life, and it's almost like that didn't even happen. So that's an interesting message to start out with, but I think quite a normal one for January. Then you have Der Schatten, number 23, the shadow. So there is some kind of shadow self issue that you are dealing with in January. Notice the signs is what your ancestors are telling you today. Investigate symbols, nature spirits. So there is some signs that you're noticing, or that you're receiving at least, in nature, or maybe through numbers, or hearing the same word, or seeing the same word over and over. And it's important that you pay attention to this. You might be thinking, especially if you're in this feeling of coming back to reality and grounding again and finally touching base with things, you might not be looking for that sort of thing. You might just be recovering, and not paying too much attention to your surroundings. Or maybe you're seeing the repeated numbers or whatever it is, but you're just writing it off as coincidence, and not taking any notice of it. So I don't know about you, but I personally don't believe in coincidences. And this message from your ancestors is telling you to pay more attention to your surroundings. Signs are guiding you. So then you've got this card, number 42, which I believe is called the Pact. Making a promise with someone, making an agreement with someone perhaps, meeting up with someone. Again, there's like a rendezvous or socializing feeling to that card. It's a little bit surreptitious though, like with the Three of Cups, that would be like really normal socializing, especially in a group. So like meeting up with a group of family, a group of your friends, socializing, going to a party, going out for a meal in a group. It's that kind of feeling, whereas this is a lot more secretive. So maybe you're seeing someone, dating someone, but no one else knows about it and you're keeping it quiet for now. Maybe you're trying to organize something with one particular friend, for example, but you don't want to upset the other friends by not inviting them, so you don't want them to know. It could be that sort of scenario, especially because it's like the Three of Cups there, and then you've got the Triskelion here, which suggests 3 people. Maybe you have 2 other friends in a friendship group, but you're a lot closer to one of them, and you don't always want to hang out with the other friend, not because you don't like them, but just because you'd like some one-on-one time with the one friend, but you don't want to upset the other friend. There's just a feeling there of something happening quietly, or maybe you're confiding in someone, or someone's letting you know a secret of some kind. Let's see what else we have. Cauldron, containment. Yeah, containment could be to do with keeping a secret. Chalice, fulfillment. These are both, again, very like watery images here. We've got the cauldron full of water, and obviously the chalice or goblet is a cup. So lots of repeated water messages there. Fulfillment is nice. That suggests that you're finding things to do that are enjoyable. You're gaining contentment and fulfillment in January. Containment, yeah, keeping something to yourself, keeping something on the down low. Maybe also trying to contain a situation before it gets out of hand. Could be maybe to do with the shadow self thing. Then you've got this card from the Dixit set, which I always see this card as being like going into something blindly, or just trying to fit in with others, or following other people, sort of going along for the ride, but you're not really sure where you're going, or even if it's the right thing for you to do. If we look at this little Pinocchio figure here, he's following everyone. The other toys all seem like this is what they want to do, or they seem a lot more determined, but he's looking back, so he's thinking like, maybe he doesn't know what's going on up here in this sort of UFO toy. He doesn't know where he's being led, what's going to happen, but everyone else is going. It's this big long procession. There's probably people behind him that we can't see as well, so he feels like he has to go along with it. So maybe there is something that you're doing in January that you'd rather not do, but you're doing it for the sake of others. Or maybe there's a situation where you haven't really thought it through, you're not really sure if it's very you or not, but you're going along with it because everyone else seems to enjoy it, or everyone else seems fine with it. Or it could be a situation, like I said originally, where it's not necessarily to do with other people, but it's just something that you're walking into blindly. You're having to put faith in the universe, or you're having to just go into something without knowing very much about it because you don't have the opportunity to learn, or there's not enough time to learn before you make that decision. So I'm curious to know what that is about for you guys in January. Hopefully we'll get some more information. Your ice cream for the month is white chocolate raspberry. Sensibility, decorum, elegance. Interesting. Trying to conduct yourself in a very elegant and refined way in January. And then you've got quite a few little tea leaf reading cards, which I always like to get a few of, but you've got 6. So your first one here is flute, disappointment in a friend or lover. That's interesting. Diamond, you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. That's very nice. Older woman, dealings or relationship with an older woman. So maybe she is the friend or lover that you're disappointed in, or maybe she is something to do with the gift. Then you have coins, money will be coming to you. That's always nice. Feather, someone you know is undependable and insincere. Interesting, given that you've got disappointment in a friend or lover. And then staff, you will be taken care of in difficult times. That's a lovely message. Okay, so those are your cards. We will get your charms and dice in a minute, but I just want to take a closer look now that we've got all of the cards out. So I keep being drawn actually to this card because I think it's going to be different situations for different people, but it just is making me think of something being agreed between two people and it being secret, or it being something that you don't really want to spread about, or it doesn't involve anyone else. And maybe if it's a promise or someone said, yeah, I'll do this, don't worry, I'll be there, you can count on me, they end up letting you down, and that's really disappointing for you. Giving and receiving a precious gift is lovely. Maybe some of you have birthdays in January because you've got the money coming to you as well. Maybe you've invited someone to your party, for example, or it's like an anniversary or a birthday or something, or celebrating a new job maybe, and you've invited someone to come and they don't turn up, or they maybe, you know, tell you they'll come and they don't, or something along those lines. I'm just seeing like you agreeing with someone. I'm not sure why that would be secret. Maybe it's someone you haven't seen for a while and you didn't want to let everyone know that they were meant to be coming. I don't know, but I get this feeling that there's something you're trying to agree with someone in January, or something that you're confiding in someone, and then you feel as though they let you down. So I don't necessarily feel like it's a betrayal of confidence if you have told someone a secret. Maybe someone confides something in you that then makes you see them differently, like you're disappointed in them because of what they've told you about themselves. Or maybe it's a situation where you confide in someone something that's happened, and then it feels as though they maybe just don't take that seriously, or even though they don't tell the secret to anyone else, because I'm not really picking up on that being the issue, they just don't support you. Or, you know, maybe you've told them something bad that's happened that's private, and then they kind of act inconsiderately towards your feelings later on the same day. You know, I'm not sure what it is, but it feels like you count on someone for something and then they're not dependable. They let you down in some way, or you just don't feel like that was the response I wanted. But you've got this, you will be taken care of in difficult times, so there are definitely still other people around you who do care. It's just really, really curious that there's this sort of almost secret or quiet situation. So sensibility, decorum and elegance. You know, if there is a party, maybe you're getting dressed up really nicely for it. There's a sense of it being fancy and you wanting to have a good time in that way. But I think also this could be to do with dignity. You know, if there is a situation where someone lets you down, I don't think you're going to go and blow up at that person and shout and scream or cry or let them know how upset you are. I think you're going to try and rise above it and just be dignified in that situation, which is really something to be proud of. The shadow, it might be that, you know, what they've done isn't necessarily that bad objectively, but it just triggers something within you that makes you respond or react more strongly than the average person would. You know, maybe someone's confided in you something and it triggers something from your past. I'm not sure, but that's the general vibe of what I get from that situation. Other than that, we've got notice the signs. There is some kind of important message coming to you via some kind of repeated signs. So keep your eyes peeled for those. And you are finding fulfillment and grounding and just a sense of getting back on your feet and back into routine in January, which is really, really lovely. You will be taken care of. You will come out of any difficult situation well, but I also do get the feeling that you're going into something where you're not quite sure if your heart is in it because of the 8 of Cups as well, or you just haven't really thought it through, or you've not really fully decided on it. if that makes sense. You're doing something, but you're a bit like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure if this is for me. And then we've got this older woman showing up in some way, connected to, I think, either the disappointment or the gift giving. So let's get some charms on top. Hopefully they'll give us some more information. It does definitely seem like you're in for money and some kind of valuable, precious gift in January. Okay, that's not very many. Let's get some more. Okay, I also got a channeled message while I was just rifling through the charms there, which was that there are a lot of people around you who care, group 1, in this month, but for some reason you're focusing on the one person that lets you down. So it's like, say 10 people do lovely things for you in January, you instead don't focus on that, but you focus on the one person that upset you or disappointed you in some way. Or, you know, say it's a party situation, say you invite 10 people to a party and it's almost like you don't appreciate the fact that they come because that one person didn't come. It's that kind of situation. So, you know, it's not to say that that's bad or that you're not justified in feeling that way, but it's just saying remember the people that are there, remember the people that do care, that do show up for you, that do show their appreciation, because that way you'll feel a lot better. So what have we got from the charms then? So we've got death, so something ending, letting something go, completion of a cycle, listen to your inner guidance, your conscience to make decisions. There's also the haunted house here, so someone or something from your past that you can't seem to stop thinking about or let go of. I think these definitely make sense if you have like some kind of birthday or milestone event happening in January, because I think they often, those sorts of events make you think about the past, or they make you think about where you were on that date however many years ago, who's been to those sorts of celebrations with you in the past. Like, it does bring up a lot of memories and feelings a lot of the time. So I think that's normal. You have, just married. Wow, okay, so there is definitely something to celebrate in January. I know we've just come out of the holiday period and, you know, it might not be that you're getting married, but some of you might be. There's something to celebrate. Maybe there's been an engagement recently for you or someone in your social circle, or maybe someone is announcing a pregnancy or they've had a baby, or maybe you're celebrating a new job, graduation, anniversary, like I mentioned, or birthday, that sort of thing. Feels like there's a proper celebration happening. The baby tapir, shyness, anxiety, also children, so again babies or children's birthdays, children starting at school, those sorts of things, pregnancies. Then we have the little earth elemental, and this is nice because this is a charm that tells you it's okay to be different. You don't have to be like other people, and that of course makes me think of this card where it feels like you're going along with something that you're not fully sure of. You know, and it could be to fit in with others, or it could be because everyone else just seems fine with it, and so you think, yeah, sure, I'll go along with it, or it could just be that you haven't had a chance to think it through. But just remind yourself you don't have to do what others are doing. Please try not to compare yourself to others in January, especially if there are these big announcements like births and pregnancies or engagements and new jobs in your social circle and things. You know, it can often make you start worrying about where you are in relation to these other people, especially if they're, say, old school friends or their relatives. You know, there's that inherent sense of comparison that can be very difficult to shake. So just because someone else is at a different stage on that life journey to you, even if they're of a similar age or they've come from a similar background, does not mean that you also need to be there as well. You know, and if that is something that you really, really want, if other people are all getting married and that's something you really, really want for yourself, then maybe this year is a time to really focus on that. You know, just try not to let it get you down or to be something that really stresses you out. That's, I think, what I'm trying to say badly. The shield, protecting yourself. Yeah, it could be a case that you're seeing like a lot of these sorts of announcements on social media, for example, and that's where the haunted house is coming from, like people from your past popping up. You can't seem to get rid of it. Every day there's like a new celebration post being flooded into your feed, and it's maybe a good idea to protect yourself by unfollowing people, even if you don't defriend them. You know, it could be just have a digital detox that might make you feel a bit better. Angels are around you, you're being protected. They see you, they hear what you're going through. They're here to help. And you have this blossoming charm as well, which is nice. Of course, the feather as well, feather and angel go well together. But the flower is making me think that even if you feel as though your confidence is knocked in January, or something happens that causes you to just feel knocked off kilter, you do ultimately end up bouncing back. Because whenever I see that charm, I think of confidence, I think of blooming as a person, blossoming. You know, if it is a case where you're comparing yourself to people from your age group or people that you grew up with, you know, it could be that you had a difficult start in life, so it took you longer to get to the sort of place that they were at. Maybe you didn't have as much support from the family as they did, or as much money to be like a springboard as they did. Whatever it is, you know, you've still got time, is the message that I want to convey, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself negatively to others. You do also have the love and relationships ball, so there is definitely a lot of love for you in your surroundings, and also potential romance too with the Knight of Cups. If you're in a relationship, this is a month where possibly your partner really comes through for you, really shows you how much they care. So we're going to roll the first set of dice for you now, Group 1. Those are the fantasy dice. And we're rolling 7 of them for you. So, yeah, Moses basket down here. There's like birth announcements or there's pregnancy announcements that are really getting some of you down. Maybe some of you are like also celebrating your own pregnancy, but there's still a sense of comparison that I'm picking up on for some of you. Maybe you invite a particular person to your baby shower or something and they don't come, and then that's something that you focus on, despite the fact that you should be focusing on the happy time for you and the people who did show up. That's the general vibe that I'm picking up on. So you've got the maze, feeling lost a little bit, but I don't actually get the sense that you're lost. I just feel like you're a little bit off kilter. So I know that I said that with grounding you do get back into the routine in January, which is good, but I just feel as though there are elements of your life you would like to change, and you're still working out what that's going to look like or what exactly that is. So you might feel like you're sleepwalking into something. You know, I think this definitely goes well with the maze dice, this card. Not really sure where you're headed, moving towards something but not really being sure why or where that is. Socializing, definitely a big theme for January. There's definitely something that nearly all of you are celebrating in this month. Don't judge a book by its cover. The little troll there, it feels like there's someone who's being overlooked by you in this month. So just as much as you are focusing on someone who has disappointed you, there's also someone who has been there for you that you're overlooking, or someone who would like to grow closer to you whom you're overlooking. When we get the troll, I think of someone who is a good friend to you, but you don't realize, or someone who you think doesn't like you, but who actually does, someone who maybe isn't that expressive with showing how they care, but definitely there's someone there that's being overlooked. You have the monk here, which is a bit like the hermit or high priestess. So spirituality, thinking things through. I think you're going to be doing a lot of thinking and decision making in this month as you try to work out what you want to change about your life and how you're going to go about that. Queen of Swords also has that feeling of cutting out what's not needed, facing up to the situation as it is, not shying away or hiding from it because it's stressful, but actually taking a look at it and being like, okay, it will be difficult, but I need to change this, or I need to get better habits or routines, or I need to completely overhaul this area of my life, and so with January comes that impetus, because you're finally acknowledging the situation, you're really owning it, you're not afraid of it anymore, you are staring it in the face and being prepared to make changes, which is so powerful. And then finally you have the pedestal dice. So there's definitely someone that is being unfairly placed on a pedestal by you, someone that you seem to care about a lot, however, for whatever reason they just don't seem to come through for you in the same way in this month, and that upsets you and makes you rethink things and, leaves you feeling disappointed in them. But as you can see, if this is one situation that's happening in this month, look at how much it's dominated the time and the reading. Because I do get the feeling that in the overall scheme of things, although it seems maybe big at the time because it's disappointing to you, it is a small thing. Like, it doesn't feel like a big life-changing disappointment or anything like that. It just seems like someone saying they'll do something and then they don't, or saying they'll come and then they don't end up doing that, or disappointing you by letting you know something about them that no one else knows. And I know I keep saying it doesn't seem that big, but for whatever reason it's important to you in this month, and that's why we've spent so much time on it today. But there's all this other stuff going on which is, arguably much more important, and lots of positive things to focus on. Look how little we've spoken about the precious gift and the money and the celebrations and the romance in comparison. I think that's just indicative of how perspective is needed and how little things can really be blown up in our minds and made bigger and more upsetting or more stressful or more difficult than they need to be. So I hope this makes sense to you, Group 1. You probably won't know what I'm talking about yet in terms of who these people are going to be or what the situation is, but just be aware now that you're prepared for it to happen. You might respond differently, or it might not seem as big of a deal, or you might have more strategies in place to cope with it. I do think this person cares about you, but just that you're not acknowledging all of the other people who do care, because you're putting a lot of focus on this one person in January. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Lots of positive things coming your way in this month, and a very emotional month it seems as well, with big decision making. Have a lovely rest of your day, Group 1. Have a wonderful January. Enjoy whatever it is that you're going to be celebrating. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye. Hello Group 2, welcome to your reading if you chose the Krusty Burger pin. Let's find out what's coming up for you in January, so we'll just put that there. And like I said in the intro, I've pre-shuffled the cards, and the deck that we're using was a Christmas present from my grandma, the tarot deck. It's the Alice in Wonderland Tarot, which I really love, and I'm really looking forward to using in readings in the future. So let's take a look at your tarot cards first, see what they have to tell us, and then we'll follow up with the oracle cards and your charms and dice. So your tarot cards are the Tower, the King of Spears, which is the King of Swords, and the Fool, So interesting, powerful opening to your reading already. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius showing up so far. So big changes coming in January. The Tower seems like change that you haven't chosen, which is interesting because January is often a time when we choose to make changes, but it feels like change happens in January, or maybe has already happened just before this month started, that you haven't chosen, or you've become aware of the fact that change needs to happen and you maybe rather not have to deal with it. King of Swords is saying that you're really taking this in hand, you're really being very strong about this, and the Fool brings these new beginnings. So very powerful time. Let's see what your oracle cards have to say. So starting with mortality, number 42, life is brief, bright, beautiful, and yours to live. Very powerful card already. Wake up, number 25, it's your moment. Yeah, so that fits with the Fool a lot, and also the Tower. And the Tower in some decks is called things like realization, or it's called like clarity, or change your life, or life experience. So it's a big moment of realization. So mortality is interesting. Maybe I'm really drawn to the Tower being that image of Alice when she's stuck in the house and she's gotten too big for it and she can't find her way out unless she physically breaks the house. Mortality, I'm wondering if there's maybe been a health scare for you recently, or you've woken up to the fact that maybe you could be healthier. Maybe you just feel like you're getting older and you haven't done a lot of things that you want to do. This is a realization essentially of time, and life is brief, bright, beautiful, and yours to live, of all the things that you still want to do, and the fact that life is for living and enjoying and getting all of the richness of experience out of it that you possibly can. So it's a real wake up moment for you this month where you're thinking, whoa, do you know what? I had never done this, or this. Or look at my life as it is now. How do I want it to be this time next year? It's like you're really thinking these big, big things. So let's keep going with your reading. So we've got Gebrochenes Herz, number 10, broken heart, followed by Loslassen, number 27, letting go. Wow. You did actually get quite a lot of cards for this reading group too. Often when I was shuffling, I got 2 cards for you from each deck, whereas that just didn't happen for group 1. So there's a lot of things going on. But broken heart and letting go, maybe some of you have had your heart broken, literally, by a person, and January is making you think, my time now. How have I, sacrificed this time for this person and they've let me down? What do I need to do next? But I do think broken heart could also be indicative of health problems for some of you. Maybe you've just gotten to a place of not being fit, or you have had a health scare that has shocked and upset you in that way, and you want to leave that behind you. So both messages fit for me. Could also be to do with grief, sort of feeling like a prison or a cage, and now you want to let go of that and move on. Look how she's coming out of the hole. It's very similar to Alice being stuck in the house, and also Alice falling down the rabbit hole. She spends the whole time trying to get out of Wonderland and get back home again. So this to me feels like getting back to a point of feeling better and brighter. Especially when you see the stark contrast of the colours and the weather in these 2 cards. You've gone from sort of thunderous, dark, overcast imagery there to the sunshine in this one. Very powerful. So then from your ancestors we have the message, connect with past loved ones, sense, feel, reconnect. So possibly, there has been a bereavement for you recently, maybe there has been grief of some kind. Maybe you just want to get your ancestors involved more in your life, or you want to live in a way that you feel would make them happy or would honour them in some way. I think if you have had your heart broken by a person, or you've gotten into a rut with your health or fitness, I think sometimes it does help us when we think of those who've gone before us and what they would want for us. I think sometimes we can struggle to motivate ourselves purely for ourselves. You know, how many people say, oh, I'm doing this for my children, you know, or I'm doing this because my mother has passed over and she wouldn't want me to live like this. You know, it's not I'm doing it for me, as it probably should be, but sometimes we need that extra bit of motivation to do something for another person's sake. So I think that definitely fits with this wake up feeling. Find your voice, express yourself, open up, sing out is another ancestral message. So your ancestors want you to speak up in January, be vocal, be clear about what you want. Don't shy away anymore. There is a feeling that you've been hiding away, or that you've been maybe stuck in the house quite literally, like not going out anywhere, and you want that to change. You want to go out and do things, you want to live life, really live it. You know, have adventures, see the world, do things that you've never done, make new friends. Really, really empowering. So then you have number 39 from this deck. And I think this one fits quite well with the express yourself message, because this guy, he clearly has seen the demon, and these monks don't believe him and they think that he's mad, but the demon is taunting him because, you know, he is there. It's just them who can't see him. So it's like, speak your truth. And not everyone will acknowledge that. Not everyone will, you know, be on your side. Some people might deny that what you're saying ever happened. Some people might deny your own lived experience and reality, but it's still important to speak up and say it. Number 43, this is a card of community, of getting together, of gatherings with other people. So it could be to do with making new friends, or it could be to do with getting out more. It's sort of a travel vibe from this card, I think. Also him like being physically escorted out of a building as well. There's a lot of outside that I'm picking up of. Magic circle, protection. So being protected from difficulty, from further suffering, from misfortune. Then you have this mermaid in this little green patch, in this little pond or puddle in the midst of this really grey, nasty looking city. When I get that card, I always think of feeling like you don't fit in with your surroundings. Again, sort of feeling stuck or trapped, because if she's a mermaid, how can she possibly leave? She needs to travel via water, and that's the only tiny little patch of water that she's got, with that city growing all around her. So it does fit very well with the Tower card from the Alice deck of feeling trapped or stuck, or like you can't make changes. However, I do always think of travel or relocation when I see this card, because I think, oh, she's clearly not fitting with her surroundings, or her surroundings are making her feel unwell. She wants to get out of the city, or she wants to go somewhere. So you could be planning some travel, given that I got that vibe from this card. And also the Fool, you know, would suggest making changes, new surroundings, relocation. Cookie dough, building, evolution, development. That is your ice cream for the month ahead. So lots and lots of change. And then your final cards are from the tea leaf reading cards. You have Cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control. So that fits very well with Magic Circle. Maybe you are frightened of demons or the evil eye, or bullying or anything like that, but you are protected from it. Carriage, a journey, yes, either physical or mental. And I think, to be honest, it's probably both. You know, we've had this discussion about the mental journey of realizing something, of coming to terms with something, of wanting to make changes, of having impetus and drive and motivation. And now we're talking about physical journeys as well, of relocation or getting out of the house more, or travel of some kind. Broken wishbone, wish will not be granted. Yeah, I think that's more to do with accepting, like, mortality, sort of accepting what hasn't gone your way, whether it's been a bereavement, a breakup, ill health, sort of that stuck in the rut feeling. Mortality is something that everyone has to accept. So that's more what I'm feeling from that. I don't necessarily see something happening in this month that is like a broken dream or a broken wish or anything. I think it's more of a what you need to accept and move on from. Yeah, scissors, disappointment in some affair. And when I see the scissors, I also think of wanting to cut something out, wanting to move on from something, wanting to let something go. I think of the Queen of Swords, and the Tower. Actually, the Tower card is very much about letting whatever is no longer needed in your life fall away, even if it happens quite violently or in a very disruptive fashion. And the Queen of Swords, like I mentioned, is about cutting things out, moving on from things that you no longer need. And you've got the King of Swords in your reading as well, so that's more about taking control and seeing what needs to be done and doing so without emotion, trying to be a bit detached from the situation. So very, very interesting in terms of your cards. Let's look at your charms because I want to get more information. We'll get your dice on top as well once we've looked at these. It's very different from group ones as well, which I like. So what have we got here? So we've got the pumpkin, which is the autumn symbol, which is very interesting. Maybe this disappointment happened in the autumn, or maybe you've got some kind of significant date or milestone coming up in the autumn that you want to have changed your life for by the time that comes. Autumn is significant for some reason. Then you have Scorpio, which is in autumn season. So that's interesting. Could be an important Scorpio in your life as well. Also think about how Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, which is all about change, death, sort of intense violent changes. Definitely fits with the Tower card. The 8th house in astrology is also ruled by Scorpio. That's the house of death, the house of change and transformation. Beauty and blossoming. Angels are with you. Angels are protecting you. We have that feeling stung or hurt charm, the wasp, and that's landing on the cobweb, which is very, very interesting because, you know, it's like that you're going to be protected from that pain. You're going to be protected from feeling hurt anymore in January. Think about, you know, wasps fly into cobwebs and that's how they die. It's like, no more of this. We're protecting you. Move on from this pain. Move on from whatever you're afraid of or whatever has been repeatedly like stabbing your heart in recent times. We're ready to move on from it. The lobster. You are stronger than you realize. You can overcome any difficulty. The 3 of Cups here. The 3 little dolphins. Socializing, having fun, getting out there. The basket as well, shopping. But also it has an additional meaning of shopping for new things in your life. And that doesn't necessarily mean shopping in the physical way, like, you know, we can take this charm to mean. It means when you're ready for something fresh and new, you're ready for a new hobby, or you're ready to change your routine, you're ready for new habits, you're ready for a new wardrobe, a new outlook on life, new friends, a new location, a new job. It's just where you feel as though I'm ready for more in life. I'm welcoming in something new. And that's where that charm often comes in. So that's really, really lovely. And then your final charm is from the astrology dice, and it's Mercury. So Mercury, if we think of, he lent his name to Mercurial, which means changeable. Definitely a lot of change coming up for you. Mercury also rules travel. Communication as well, so there's that socializing aspect, learning new things. Mercury is the rational mind, and sort of new habits and things like that, so that's very, very interesting. You might want to look at your Mercury sign in your birth chart. You might also So the position of Mercury, its sign and house, any aspects it's forming with other planets or asteroids. You may want to look at where Scorpio is in your birth chart as well. And I would have a good look too at your 8th house. Check any important transits that are affecting those things as well at the moment for you. So let's move on to your dice to round up your reading. Okay, we're rolling the 7th set of dice for you. Those are the Harry Potter dice. And we're rolling 8 of them for you. Interesting, the 8, like Scorpio, is the 8th sign, ruled by the 8th house. Okay, so what have we got here? Okay, so you've got the sword, which is interesting enough because you've got the King of Swords. But with the sword, I think it's very similar to the scissors, you know, cutting things, making changes. I also think of defensiveness a little bit with the sword. I think of the Ace of Swords as well, given that it's one sword, so new ideas, clarity of mind, new opportunities, new communication, things becoming unstuck, essentially. I see things sort of jostling about and starting to flow very quickly and very smoothly for you in January when they've previously felt very blocked and stuck. Group 2, you have this town here. You can't see it very well because all of the other dice are gilded with dark colours, but this one is gilded in gold, the Harry Potter dice box, so it can be hard to see on camera, but it's a little town, and that again is like getting out there, socializing. It could also be about moving, as we've mentioned, study, learning something new, leveling up skills or hobbies that you already have. There's a trunk here, so again, movement, travel, relocation. It's interesting how it's like literally on the carriage as well, like you would load your trunk or suitcase onto a carriage in olden days, or now into a car or onto a train, or like a luggage trolley in the airport. Norbert being born, so that sense of the Fool, again, the fresh start, the rebirth, the new outlook on life, seeing things like a child or baby sees them, full of wonder and a fresh attitude. The Parchment, important documents, reading, journaling. Harry wearing the sorting hat, decision making, big changes, executive decisions, and the person who is leaving. So they're stood on like a platform and there's an arrow pointing this way that's saying like keep going this way, almost like a fire escape kind of thing. So it is like you are moving on from something, you're leaving something behind. It's very fitting with the letting go card, both in terms of the symbolism but also how it's presented on the card of literally walking away from something. Lots of change. Group 2 is all I can say. Lots of change and movement. It feels like things are moving. They're no longer static and stuck and shut up at home. You're moving. Things are moving. There's travel opportunities. It's really exciting. So I hope you embrace all of these opportunities in January. I really hope you've enjoyed this reading. I hope it's been helpful for you. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful month ahead. Take care. Have fun. Have adventures, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.